The night the rain wouldn't stop was the night Daniel realized how invisible he had become. People hurried past him on the sidewalk, shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on glowing screens or the promise of warmth waiting behind locked doors. Daniel sat beneath the flickering awning of a closed grocery store, his threadbare jacket soaked through, his shoes leaking cold water with every small movement. He had learned not to hope for much anymore. Hope hurt too much when it disappeared. At 27, Daniel was homeless, hungry, and forgotten. At least that's how the world made him feel. He hadn't always been this way. Once he had dreams that filled his chest so tightly he thought it might burst. A steady job, a small apartment, maybe a family of his own someday, but life had unraveled slowly, then all at once. His mother's illness drained his savings, medical bills piled up, his job vanished during layoffs. When she passed away, the silence in their tiny apartment became unbearable, and soon he lost that too. Friends drifted away, not out of cruelty but discomfort. Eventually, Daniel found himself sleeping wherever the night allowed. Still, even after everything, one thing refused to leave him: his instinct to care. He shared food when he had it. He checked on other people sleeping on the streets. He believed, stubbornly, that kindness mattered even when the world didn't seem to reward it. That belief was tested on that rain-soaked evening. Across the street, under the harsh glow of a street lamp, Daniel noticed a woman standing alone. She looked out of place. Her coat was expensive, her shoes impractical for the weather. She kept glancing around nervously, one hand pressed to her swollen belly. Pregnant, very pregnant. Cars sped past, splashing water onto the curb. She tried to wave one down, but no one stopped. Daniel hesitated. People like her didn't want help from people like him. He knew the look, fear mixed with suspicion. Still, something felt wrong. The way she leaned against the lamppost, the shallow, uneven breaths. He stood up, ignoring the ache in his legs, and crossed the street. "Ma'am," he said softly, careful not to startle her. "Are you okay?" She turned sharply, eyes wide. For a moment Daniel thought she might scream or run. Then her face twisted in pain. I think I'm in labor," she whispered, panic breaking through her composure. "My phone died. My driver never came back. I don't know what to do." Daniel's heart pounded. He had no car. No phone, no money, but he had hands, a voice, and a will to help. "Okay," he said, steadying himself. "Okay, we'll figure this out. You're not alone." She stared at him, rain dripping from her hair, disbelief etched across her face. "You don't have to, I know," Daniel replied gently, "but I want to." He guided her back under the awning where it was dry. He gave her his jacket despite her protests, draping it carefully around her shoulders. Then he ran, barefoot through puddles, ignoring the cold. To a nearby diner he sometimes slept behind. The owner had chased him away more than once, but tonight desperation gave him courage. He banged on the back door until a tired man cracked it open. "She's in labor," Daniel said, breathless. "Please call an ambulance." Something in his voice cut through the annoyance. Minutes later, sirens wailed in the distance, slicing through the rain. Daniel rushed back to the woman, holding her hand as contractions racked her body. "My name is Emily," she said between breaths. "Thank you for staying." "My name's Daniel," he answered. "Just keep breathing. Help is coming." When the ambulance arrived, paramedics took over, swift and efficient. One of them glanced at Daniel, soaked and shivering. "You coming?" she asked. Daniel shook his head. "She's your priority." Emily reached for his hand. "Please don't go." So he didn't. At the hospital, Daniel waited in a plastic chair, ignored by most, judged by some. Nurses passed him without a word. He didn't mind. All that mattered was that Emily and her baby were safe. Hours later, a doctor emerged with a smile. healthy baby boy. He said, "Mother's doing well." Relief flooded Daniel so intensely his eyes burned. "Can I see her?" Daniel asked, unsure if he was allowed. The doctor studied him for a moment, then nodded. Emily lay in a hospital bed, exhausted but glowing, her newborn sleeping peacefully beside her. Tears filled her eyes when she saw Daniel. "You saved us," she said. "I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't stopped." Daniel shrugged, uncomfortable with praise. "Anyone would have done it." She shook her head. "No, they didn't." Over the next few days, Daniel visited when he could. He brought nothing but conversation and quiet support. What he didn't know was who Emily really was. Emily Carter was married to one of the wealthiest tech entrepreneurs in the country, a billionaire whose name filled headlines and business magazines. That night she had argued with her security team, insisting on independence, on proving she didn't need constant protection. When she went into labor unexpectedly, pride turned into terror. When her husband, Michael Carter, arrived at the hospital, he expected gratitude for the doctors. He didn't expect to hear about a homeless man who refused to leave his wife's side. Michael found Daniel sitting alone in the hallway. "You're the one who helped my wife," Michael said. Daniel stood quickly. "She's okay, right?" Michael nodded, emotion thick in his voice. "She is, because of you." Daniel waited for security to appear, for suspicion, for dismissal. Instead, Michael held out his hand. "Thank you," he said simply. What happened next did change everything. Michael didn't offer Daniel money that day. He offered him dignity, a chance. He listened, truly listened, to Daniel's story. Days later, Daniel was given a temporary apartment, counseling, and a job opportunity at one of Michael's companies. Not as charity, but as belief. Months passed. Daniel rebuilt his life piece by piece. He worked hard, earned respect, and eventually found stability he once thought impossible. 1 year later, Daniel stood in a park, watching a little boy take his first steps. Emily waved at him, smiling. "You remind him," she said softly, "that kindness can come from anywhere." Daniel smiled back, heart full, because sometimes the smallest act of humanity doesn't just save one life, it changes many, and sometimes the people the world overlooks are the very ones who restore its faith. And on that rainy night, when Daniel chose compassion over fear, he proved something powerful. No matter how little you have, you can still be everything to someone who needs you.